After making it to Wembley for the first time in 16 years, local rivals Halifax dented Bradford's title hopes on Friday. Will they spoil the Headingley party?
Leeds-born Gary Schofield hasn't won a major domestic competition in his entire career. Wembley offers him the best chance. He's had his differences in the past with Ellery Hanley, but the two have now buried the hatchet in '94. Haven't Leeds prospered? Hanley's 20 tries make him the club's top scorer again. But the highlight of this Leeds season has been the arrival of the youngsters. Graham Holroyd's been in outstanding form and is just turned 18. Playing so well, Schofield's now the scrum half. The big league's form player is Halifax winger John Bentley, and he's just won his second Great Britain cap. Halifax have some pace out wide. Mark Preston's on the other wing. His barren spell at the turn of the year has ended. 3 tries in his last 3 matches, 14 in all, 5 against Leeds for Halifax in the past 3 seasons. Steve Hampson has come back, and in his last 5 games, Halifax have lost just once. They're bang on course for Old Trafford.
So Leeds are at Wembley for the first time since '78. It's a tremendous boost for the club, but the players also have an eye on Old Trafford and the Premiership. They move back into contention with their win at Wakefield on Friday. Let's check the Leeds side. Alan Tate was man of the match in the semi-final win over St Helens. Jim Fallon can claim a unique distinction. Having played at Twickenham in the Pilkington Cup final, he now prepares for Wembley. And Kevin Iro will face his former club Wigan at Wembley.
They don't come any bigger or better than the Kiwi centre Kevin Iro. A veteran of 24 international caps for New Zealand, Iro has explosive speed and the strength that's earned him the nickname The Beast. One of the game's hardest men to tackle, and he should give Halifax plenty of problems in defence today.
Kevin Iro, he scored 2 tries for Wigan in the 1988 final against Halifax. Francis Cummins moves into the centre to cover for the injured Craig Innes. Cummins will become the game's youngest ever Wembley finalist. Paul Cook is another 17-year-old who takes Cummins' place on the wing. He too is in the squad for Wembley. Graham Holroyd limped off injured at half-time against Wakefield on Friday, but he's fit again for today. Gary Schofield, the Great Britain captain, 44 appearances for his country. He's just 2 away from the record set by the legendary Mick Sullivan. Neil Harmon joined Leeds in the summer from Warrington, having played 146 times for the Cheshire set. James Lowes at hooker scored a try in the defeat of Wakefield on Friday. It was his 5th of the season. Harvey Howard was the last piece in Dougie Lawton's jigsaw. Howard makes his 14th successive appearance. Gary Mercer has been in majestic form all season. He's a contender for the Leeds Player of the Year award. Richie Ayres scored a try in that semi-final against Saints, and he's in line to make his 2nd consecutive appearance in the final, just like Harvey Howard. Ellery Hanley, 33 the day after the semi-final. 2 tries then, 1 against Wakefield on Friday. 20 now for the season. The coach and the ink not yet dry on a new 2-year deal for him at Headingley. It's Doug Lawton. Now, Halifax were knocked out of the Cup by Warrington early on, and that could have been the end of their season. But the players have responded well, and they've won 5 of their last 6, including the one against Bradford on Friday that really did dent Northern's title hopes. This is the side that they turn out here at Headingley. Steve Hampson's at full-back. He's played in the last 5 matches, and Halifax have lost only once. John Bentley is the form winger in the big league. 18 tries. He won his 2nd cap against France in Carcassonne last month. John Schuster, 14 points against Bradford Northern, took him through the 150-point barrier for the season. Graham Hallis, 10 tries in 23 games last season, his first for Halifax. He has 11 tries this season so far. Mark Preston suddenly started to hit form again, following a barren spell up to March. Tries in each of his last 3 games. Michael Hagan is the Aussie standoff, whose form has been crucial to the Halifax revival. Paul Bishop plays his 8th game back after a 10-match injury absence.
The cheeky little halfback Paul Bishop is one reason why Halifax have bounced back to top form in the last few weeks. Bishop is a rugged player with a never-say-die attitude and loves nothing better than taking on the defence. A great support player who has a knack of scoring the vital try.
Paul Bishop is a thorn in anyone's side, the little scrum half. Carl Harrison's next. When Halifax paid Hull £120,000 for him in 1991, he became their club record buy. Roy Southernwood is one of 12 former under-21 Great Britain skippers of the past 9 years, strangely the only one not to have won a cap at full test level. Gary Lord's one of 5 former Leeds players in the Halifax squad today. John Bentley, Gary Devorty and the 2 subs are the others. Paul Round signed for Halifax from Wakefield on Challenge Cup deadline day. The 30-year-old has also played for Oldham and St Helens. Paul Round. David Boyd makes only his 4th start in 8 games after appearing in 19 of the previous 20. And Gary Devorty completes the lineup. A try here in defeat last season when Halifax lost 42-12. And the coach is Malcolm Reilly, who looks sure at the end of his first full season in charge to improve on Halifax's 7th place finish for each of the past 2 seasons. Now then, over the past 20 years, Leeds have dominated matches against Halifax. 15 wins to 5. The only time that Halifax were on top was twice in the 80s under Chris Anderson. Both Leeds and Halifax scored 5 tries each on Good Friday as they strengthened their premiership hopes. Halifax now need 1 try for the magical 100. Leeds are some way behind. Defence of both clubs is similar. The tale of the season so far. Leeds have a 50% success rate from their 24 games played. They're back in the top 8. Halifax in 5th place have 15 wins to their credit, and they're on course to better that 7th place finish of the past 2 years. Well, now imagine if they had a choice. Leeds really wouldn't have chosen Halifax as their opposition today as they come home having made sure of their first Wembley appearance in 16 years. But that's life, as they say elsewhere, and these 2 sides are in a rich vein of form. Halifax really did knock Bradford Northern's hopes of the title on Friday, and Leeds, well, they have won 8 of their last 10 in the Cup and League. And so, Steve-O, it's all there. It could be a classic.
I think it will be. I think both sides, there's 14 internationals on display, and they love attacking football. That's the key to both sides. They have a few problems in defence. That's been, well, shall we say, something that's brought them back to the pack. But I think that we're in for a cracking game, mainly due to the fact of the 2 half-backs. I think Paul Bishop is one of the major reasons why Halifax has bounced back into top form. Gareth Schofield a little bit quiet in that semi-final, but against Wakefield, he bounced back into the best, and I think that we'll see it again today. It'll be a great effort from both sides. I think it'll be a great test match because both these players, they control it. They will take control. Now, whoever takes control in the first 15, 16 minutes, they love to kick the game, and that's what it's all about.
Well,
take charge of it.
It's shaking here. There's a right row going on outside. A helicopter's going to land or something. Bill Arthur's got all the details.
Oops.
Well, something different happening at Headingley this morning. There's a helicopter buzzing the ground at the moment. It's just done 1 circuit. I hope it's on the way back. And on board are 2 West Yorkshire police officers. There's PC Jonathan Clay and policewoman Fran Smith, both I'm told who are mature police officers, but they're going to be doing something very daring indeed, because in a moment the helicopter will hover over this pitch, and both these police officers will do something they've never done before, which is abseil from 200 feet down onto the pitch. And here comes the helicopter now. It's an Army Lynx helicopter which is just hovering over the pitch now, and both these police officers are getting ready to do their stuff, and they're doing their stuff for charity. There it is, that's a Lynx helicopter, and they're going to abseil down, and the aim is to raise £10,000 for charity so that they can send a group of children who come from tough, deprived areas of inner city West Yorkshire off on outward bound courses. There's an army support team down on the ground ready to help them come down, and hopefully they're not going to be needing too much help either. First to come down is policewoman Fran Smith. She's a youth services officer from West Yorkshire Police, and coming down with her PC Jonathan Clay, who is also a youth services officer. They've had intensive training from the army, and because of security reasons I'm not allowed to tell you exactly which army unit they've had training from, but it's a very special army unit who've been putting them through their paces. There go the ropes. They're 200 feet up. And they're ready to come. 200 feet they'll be coming. It's a long way down. There's 4 army personnel on the ground holding those ropes. 200 feet from the ground, and here they come. This is policewoman Smith. She's got an army officer with her, just guiding her down. And there they go.
Well, sooner than me, and you notice there was a gentleman there with a bald head. It wasn't my friend here. He is still well and truly on terra firma. Well, it just shows you we bring it all here on the big league on Sky Sports, don't we? Now then, to our local hero today, and he's coming up after the break. Must be one of the most infamous names in the game. 1971, Sid Hines became the first man ever to be sent off in a Wembley final, and he will talk about the incident after these. The helicopter has departed. We have Leeds against Halifax for you this Easter Monday morning, a great local derby in prospect. And will Halifax spoil Leeds' celebrations of their first Wembley since 1978? Now, talking of Wembley, let's meet this week's local hero.
This was the moment that ensured Sid Hines his place in rugby league history, the first player to be sent off in a Wembley final, dismissed by referee Billy Thompson after a skirmish with Leeds' Alex Murphy in 1971.
We've always been close friends because we have common interests, racing besides rugby, isn't it? So we used to bump into each other racing.
So what do you remember about that moment?
Well, I remember that the press were tipping the referee to send one of us off all the week before the game even got to Wembley. And unfortunately, it was me that got sent off.
But Wembley does have happier memories for Sid. He won there with Leeds in '68 and as coach took them back successfully in '77 and '78. In fact, he never lost a major final as Leeds coach and was the last man to take them to Wembley.
Super that Leeds are going after all these years. 16 years for a club like Leeds is unbelievable. So let's hope they can go there and lift the trophy and fetch it back to Yorkshire.
Well, yes, what about the chances then against Wigan?
Well, Wigan is such a formidable team and they're so strong in depth. But Dougie will know all about it. I mean, he's taken witness there a lot of times and he knows Wigan's strengths and the weaknesses, if they have a weakness.
Sid won 12 Great Britain caps before leaving the game 13 years ago. Many Leeds supporters believe he still had a lot to offer, but Sid, very much a family man, had his priorities.
I think at the time when I'd spent 20 years at Edinburgh both playing and managing, I had 2 young lads growing up at that time, and I'd never seen them grow up, so I thought it was time to sort of bail out and give some time to see them growing up.
And Sid will be hoping Leeds can end their long Wembley wait this year.
Sid Hines, the answer to the best rugby league quiz question in the world until just 12 months ago when Richie Ayres became the second man to be sent off in a Wembley final. Well, we have a great match for you here at Headingley today, Easter Monday morning. Leeds against Halifax, coming in, of course, on the back of all the Good Friday fixtures. Let's take a check for you now on the results from Friday. Castleford 26, Featherstone 6, Halifax 27, Bradford 18, Hull 14, Hull KR 6, in the big local derby up there. Salford 23, Oldham 26. Saints 9, Wigan 15. You saw that one Good Friday morning, I trust. Sheffield 48, Lee 4. Wakefield 20, Leeds 29. Warrington 28, Widnes 14. Now, what does that mean to the top of the table? Well, quite simply, Warrington are the leaders going into this afternoon's match with Wigan at Central Park, Bradford in second and Castleford in fourth. You notice today's two combatants, Halifax fifth and Leeds are in eighth. And down at the bottom, it looks pretty grim now for Hulkingston Rovers and Lee. And Lee will be relegated today if Hulkingston Rovers pick up a point. In fact, just looking at that, they're down already, aren't they? They've gone. Lee are down at the bottom end of the table. They will play second division football next season. Now then, let's check on the form of the two teams coming into this match, Leeds and Halifax. And perhaps the most significant result on that list of games from Good Friday was Halifax's win at home against Bradford Northern.
Halifax did Bradford's title rivals a big favour with victory at Thrum Hall. Graham Hallis unselfishly setting up the first try for Mark Preston. Bradford captured the lead though when Derek Fox engineered a try for Paul Newlove with a delicate grubber kick. But Paul Bishop had his kicking boots on too, and it was his high ball which caused confusion in the Bradford ranks. John Bentley picked up the loose ball and John Schuster went over unopposed. Now Schuster has been in great scoring form lately, and he bagged his second when he took Steve Hampson's pass, ducked the high tackle and went over. Halifax have one pre-owned Bentley from a Leeds forecourt in their ranks. He's got a few miles on the clock now, but he's still got marvellous acceleration, great cornering ability, side impact bars, and this model comes complete with overdrive, very useful in heavy Bradford traffic. Another vintage Bentley try, putting Halifax in charge. That was good. The next Halifax try was almost as spectacular. It started with another Derek Fox kick deep into opposition territory. Steve Hampson, the Halifax full-back, set off through some half-hearted Bradford tackling and got support from Graham Hallis. It looked as though his pass to Gary Lord was forward, but the movement carried on and Paul Bishop evaded the last defender to go over. Too late, Bradford got their act together and staged a comeback. Dave Heron making the breakthrough. Carl Fairbank getting a lucky bounce and then setting up Paul Newlove for his second try of the game and his 28th of the season. And despite a late try from Paul Medley and 3 Derek Fox goals, Bradford slipped to a 27-18 defeat. It boosts the Halifax hopes of a top 4 place and home advantage in the Premierships, but leaves Bradford trailing Warrington in the race for the title.
Gary Schofield was in inspired form at Wakefield. His break, supported by Graham Holroyd, was finished off by James Lowes for the first try. But Wakefield are battling for their big league lives, and coming up an outstanding try from Andy Mason. Trinity keeping the ball alive well. Scrum half Lee Hanlon putting Mason through the gap. He left Hanley and Holroyd in his wake and then turned inside Tate to score a superb try. Leeds, though, are playing with the confidence that a place at Wembley has inspired, and no one better than Gary Schofield. He created Hanley's 20th try of the campaign. Wakefield, though, refused to lie down, and back they came again. Henry Paul's long pass out wide to Adrian Flynn. His grubber was touched down by Bright Sodji. Beware the low-flying winger. Schofield again had a hand in the next try, and Hanley shielded the ball well for Jim Fallon to produce the strength to touch down. Into the second half now, and coming up one of the tries of the season for Kevin Iro. No wonder they call this fellow the Beast. Wakefield had no answer to his brilliant stepping power. He took them on his own, but did he ground the ball correctly? No matter, the run deserved the 4 points. Another try for Leeds, and another created by Schofield. His superb run and pass to Irving, who fed Francis Cummins, and the 17-year-old's development continues. The match was well won for Leeds, but Trinity showed their fighting spirit to the end. Defence has been Leeds' problem all season. Despite the attentions of Hanley, Ayres and Donoghue, substitute Richard Goddard somehow got the ball away to Adrian Flynn, who crashed over. 9 points the difference in the end.
Oh, that's the way these two sides came into the Easter Monday battle with their Good Friday victories. Steve-o, that Halifax win against Bradford Northern, that could prove really significant at the end of the season.
Well, it certainly could. Halifax, of course, they realised they've only got the Premiership left to play for. They started out exceptionally well at the start of the season, then they just went off the rails midway through it. And I think the last 4 or 5 weeks, Malcolm Reilly has really got them kick up the backside, and they needed it, and they really are in top form. They've got some great players. Bentley is in top form, as we see. Bishop is bouncing back to his best. But Leeds, well, I wonder whether they're going to just be remembered, whether they're just going to think about Wembley. Will we get the Wembley wobbles for them? Because they're in a very precarious situation. They're in 8th position, and if they miss out on that, there'll be a lot of disappointed fans here. They want to make sure that they go to Old Trafford, not just getting to Wembley. I think a Leeds side to get to the Premiership would be a great thing for rugby league.
I know that psychology plays an important part in this game, doesn't it? And Gary Rose on Friday broke his arm so badly it has needed surgery. He is out of the Wembley final now. He's out till the start of next season. I wonder whether that will play on the Leeds players' minds. You know, well, we better not get an injury here because we might miss out on Wembley in the big one.
Well, the biggest problem is, of course, is that when you hold back, you normally do get an injury. If you go full out, full bore, then you'll be fit enough and you'll go straight through for it. I think Dougie Lawton will have them all fired up enough to make sure that that doesn't happen. It's a sad blow to Leeds because Gary Rose, let's say, he puts a little bit of punch and fire into the forward play. He's been one of the main reasons when he first came here. He added a lot more fire and power, and that was one problem that Leeds had. The forwards weren't moving forward. When Rose came, they certainly did a lot of that. He's a sad loss to them. And of course today they're going to be without Craig Innes, which throws up another thing about the youngster Francis Cummins, a very talented youngster. He's 17 years of age. He proved to me in the semi-final that he's a talent for the future, but it's going to be a bit interesting to see how he handles the centre.
OK, we've got a great match in prospect for you here. Local derbies, you know, involving Leeds are always blood and thunder occasions, and I'm sure that this will be no difference. It's Leeds against Halifax here at Headingley. Leeds come home after Wembley. Will Halifax spoil their day?
Leeds take the field, and Captain Ellery Hanley carries today's mascot, who is 6-year-old Jenny Bailey, who suffers from cerebral palsy. But that hasn't prevented her being here today and being the Leeds mascot. Hanley takes her out into the middle. It'll be Jenny's 7th birthday on Wednesday, and what a wonderful birthday present for her. Not bad conditions for this afternoon's game, or this morning's game I should say, because of course it is an 11:30 kickoff. It's cloudy. We might have the occasional blustery showers, although so far it's been dry this morning. There's a fairly strong wind from the west, 20 to 30 miles an hour, and the temperature a very chilly 7 degrees or so. It's early, not half as early as one Leeds fan was up this morning. He was here at 5 o'clock, ready to start the queue to buy his Challenge Cup final ticket. Talk about cup crazy.
But I wonder whether John Bentley will spoil all the Leeds celebrations. Leeds came out to a standing ovation from their supporters, but Bentley, with 18 tries and a former Leeds player, of course, he would love to add to that tally here today. Quickly through the Leeds team for you: Tate, Fallon, Iro, Cummins, Cook, Holroyd and Schofield. No Craig Innes. Forwards Harmon, Lowes, Howard, Mercer, Ayres and Hanley. That is the Wembley forward pack. And Simon Irving and Marcus Vasilakopoulos on the bench. Little Paul Bishop, the man picked out by Steve-o as one of the real danger men to the Leeds ambitions today. 8th game back after missing 10 because of injury. Here's the Halifax team: Hampson, Bentley and Schuster, Hallis, Preston, Hagan and Bishop. And the forwards, Harrison the captain, Southernwood, Lord, Round, Boyd and Devorty. And 2 former Leeds players on the bench, Lee Harland and Paul Anderson. The match referee is John Holdsworth from Kippax, was in charge of the semi-final. I wonder whether he will add to his 2 Wembley finals this year, his last in 1990. So, an early start to the Stones Bidder Championship Easter Monday programme here at Headingley. Leeds against Halifax. Remember, we were here over Easter a couple of years ago, and this same match produced an absolute classic, and I'm sure that today will be no exception. Hallis picks up the ball for Halifax, runs it back, but a reception committee meets him, Mercer and Howard. Southernwood in at dummy half. This is Paul Round. Hanley is there to wrestle him to the floor with Richie Ayres. And that ball was certainly not played properly, but the referee has pinned the Leeds players for offside.
Harvey Howard, the prop forward, set off far too quickly on the left-hand side. Wasn't the best play of the ball, though, by Paul Round. You can see there, number 10, big prop forward Harvey Howard, keen to get into the action. It's so important for Leeds to show that they've got plenty of courage and power to score tries in front of their home crowd since winning their way through to Wembley.
Graham Hallis looks like he's got a nasty graze on the side of his face. Of course, these players are coming into this match on the back of big efforts on Good Friday. Bruising, cruel time of the year for rugby league professionals, but this is David Boyd. Schofield is there, and so too was James Lowes. Round with the run.
Well, they look pretty fired up to these Leeds forwards. Going very hard indeed.
Lord taking Halifax into the 20-metre zone. Quick play the ball and the hoisted kick from Paul Bishop. It's a high one. Tate collects it, then drops it. It was very close to the dead in goal line.
That was a super kick from Paul Bishop. Everyone anticipated the ball was going directly into the crowd, but the wind brought it back. And at the last moment, Alan Tate just realised he had to go for it. He was under the impression that was going to go out on the full. Give you some indication that Leeds will have the advantage of this quite strong, blustery wind.
David Boyd with the headgear straight into the chest of Gary Schofield, similarly attired. Hanley was there too. Southernwood to Hampson. Steve Hampson, the former Wigan fullback. And now Gary Lord. Good run from him. Gary Lord certainly has a fan in his coach, Malcolm Reilly. He is one of the Leeds, ex-Leeds players in this Halifax side, signed in fact by Malcolm Reilly. Bishop trying to engineer something, but the ball wasn't a good one that was back. He is Round. That's a good run from Round, a tremendous run. And a good job that Cummins was there to haul him down. Halifax have started strongly here. Bishop and Southernwood. The ball back to Bentley. Bentley long pass to Preston. Can he get round Fallon? Good tackling by Fallon.
Well played by Fallon there. He offered him the outside, and he's just dropped it. That was on the last. Or was it? Offside.
Leeds first touch, and offside immediately against Halifax. Leeds have been on the back foot for the opening 3 minutes.
Well in front of the referee, John Holdsworth there. Also the second marker coming at the side. Quite an option there, did the referee, to penalise Halifax. Both sides very excitable, keyed up. They realise the importance of it.
Oh, Harman, what a great run from him. Prop forward, man who joined from Warrington in the summer. Ball now with Holroyd. And here's Harvey Howard. He drops it and Bishop picks it up. Good tackling that by Halifax. And quick thinking by Bishop. And there's a bit of a schmozzle between Howard and Bishop. Hagan, long pass out wide to Hampson. He has Bentley there. Leeds watching Bentley very carefully.
Well, we saw how fiery the little halfback Paul Bishop was then. It was Harvey Howard that dropped the ball, and Howard came back in. Seemed a pretty late tackle, that arm swinging into it. Bishop didn't like it.
Carl Harrison, Halifax captain. Halifax coming into this match on the back of defeat against Leeds in January. And Hanley is involved in an off-the-ball incident as Round is bundled into touch. He was not too happy with, I think, the challenge from Roy Southernwood on him.
Well, we said that the players were fired up there. Hanley not happy with it. Gary Lord it was that shaped up to him, and the hooker Southernwood as well. Well, a few words of wisdom from Ellery Hanley to Roy Southernwood, and the smile. Maybe he said, we'll get the penalty, and they did.
Well, he said something. Holroyd with the penalty. Not happy with the distance he had on it, but Harman will run it straight at Gary Devorty. Here's Howard, and he drops it, spills the ball. Schuster collects for Halifax.
Having a bit of a nightmare start is Howard there. The run around was on, he didn't get it right. James Lowe's actually just hold it back a little bit late. But the defence from Halifax moving up extremely quickly.
Good run from Halifax's Gary Lord, taking his team to inside Leeds territory. This is Hagan, this is out round, ball out wide for Bentley. Halifax looking for the winger early on here. He's through Cummins, or rather he's through Cook, he's not through Cummins. That's good play by the young 17-year-old. Bishop, he finds Round. Bright start this by Halifax. Bishop, back to Devorty. Good tackling by Cummins, finished off by Hanley. Southernwood, the dummy half, little right hook there from Hanley on Devorty, who's gone down. Touch judges are both on. Referee will surely hold it up here.
He's got to. Whatever happened to Ellery Hanley, he just lost total control. Just threw a quick right hook. Well, if he thinks he's going to get away with that, I'm afraid he's mistaken. Here it comes. No doubt about it, Gary Devorty down for the count. Well, what is the referee John Holsworth going to do about this? With a few head eyes, swinging arms, a few players ducking underneath them. We anticipated a rough and ready game. Ellery Hanley saying, he grabbed hold of my shirt. That is no excuse to throw a right punch, in my opinion. Devorty did grab his shirt. Well, a lucky man as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's given Halifax a penalty and the chance here for the first points of the morning, but Gary Devorty is still feeling the effects of that short, sharp right from Ellery Hanley. Little love lost between the players of both sides at the moment.
Well, I can't believe that. It was quite clear to everybody. Touch judge came on very quickly. I've been calling for it for quite some time. Some referees do use their brains and bring out the yellow card. It's amazing. You can get sent off to the sin bin for lying on a player, call a professional foul, throw a good right hook, and you stay on. Never ceases to amaze me, these merry whistleblowers.
Schuster then with the penalty, and Schuster gives Halifax the lead 2-0. That's Schuster's 49th goal of the campaign. 5 tries in his last 3 and 7 in his last 6 for the New Zealand centre. So Holroyd restarts. Hampson collects it on the full. Tries to drive it back. His former teammate Kevin Iro. And he's finished off there by James Lowe's also. Hallis. This is David Boyd. Carl Harrison. Mercer and Howard and Lowe's. Southernwood peeling away on the blind side, but not making too much progress. Bishop has gone into dummy half. There's Devorty. Woof. Big collision between Devorty and Harvey Howard. Played the ball correctly with his foot, even though it was from an almost horizontal position. Bishop dabs the ball forward, Tate collects it. Bishop, following his own kick up, puts a good tackle in on the Leeds fullback.
Nice kick and chase there from Bishop. Well, this is a point where Leeds have to just calm things down a little bit. They're losing their way. They've lost possession early in the tackle count on 3 occasions, and that will be a penalty. Jim Fallon worked hard for that. The prop forward, Carl Harrison, not allowing the winger to get up and play the ball. You see it so often there. You must roll away. There's no doubt about it that Harrison was too late in releasing.
And they didn't find touch with that. Preston managed to get it at the second attempt. That's a mistake by Leeds, but look at the pace of Preston. Being closed down now by Cummins and Hanley.
Well, this was an awful mistake. A good play by Preston. He did the right thing. That shows you how strong this wind is. And Leeds really have not utilised it as yet.
Southernwood on halfway finds David Boyd. Back in favour, David Boyd today. John Fieldhouse, of course, out injured for Halifax. Bishop with a quick ball to Hagan, and Bentley is off after this kick through by Hagan. It's good play, but it just held up for him. But he was in front of the ball, offside. Now that's a debatable decision, and Bentley will continue the debate. He's a mile onside.
I'm not so sure.
You've always been the argumentative sort.
I think that Bentley was just 2.5 inches in front. That's how good this referee is. Look at that, 2.5 inches. Maybe 3.
Well, if you ask me, it was the other side of the light green stripe across the field. However, we don't matter. It's what John Holdsworth says that counts, and he has given Leeds the penalty. That's why they're in possession with Iro. And Iro has scored a wonderful try on Friday, and Wakefield sets off on another run, but is closed down by Hagan and by Preston.
Good thinking there by the Kiwi international. He knew that there was nowhere to go, made sure he kept the possession inside.
Here's Cummins, he finds Cook. Paul Cook jinks inside Bentley. Oh, and then just loses his footing. That's unfortunate.
That's better from Leeds. Good drive down the blind side from Iro, and then a quick link.
Here's Schofield. He finds Mercer. There's Iro on the charge, and a good tackle by Round. Closed down also by Hallis.
Super tackle, Hallis and Round. Crunch time.
Mercer on the run around with Hanley. Shrugs away from one, gets the ball away, but Tate, not expecting it, I think, just caught him unawares.
Well, there's no good saying you don't expect it. You have to keep your eyes on the football at all time. Once again, frustration coming into the Leeds play.
Bishop feeds the scrum. Here's Hampson. Leads the 3 handling errors. Halifax none, and it's Halifax 2-0 up at the moment. Coming up to 13 minutes gone.
Well, I must say, we thought perhaps how would the youngster Francis Cummins handle the centre position. Well, I tell you what, he's having a wow of a game, both in attack and defence, especially defence.
Bentley away from Cook, almost away from Holroyd. That's good tackling. The support arrives from Round. Ball Round, gets the ball away to Hagan. He gets it round the man brilliantly to Bishop, to Harrison. Harrison shrugs off Mercer, gives it to Lord. It's a good attack from Halifax, but they went down the blind alley, and Hanley was there to pick up the man. They're still rolling forward though with Boyd. Good tackle by Mercer. It was a great tackle, and it had to be. Hampson to Bishop, to Southernwood, who drops it, and all that pressure comes to nothing.
Great build-up. Sad end, I'm afraid. You could see the hooker Southernwood was more intent to get the ball out wide. Wouldn't be happy with that. Normally very, very secure with his hands. But tremendous football from Halifax. Kept the ball alive. Superb passes.
Referee wants the scrum to reform. Leeds feed in the shape of Schofield, having lost only 3 at home all season. Good tackle there by Devorty on Fallon. Wigan, St Helens and Featherstone Rovers have beaten them here. 7 victories, a draw against Hull, 22 all. That's been the story of Leeds' campaign at Headingley. Here's Richie Ayres. Got away from Schuster, but couldn't get away from Lord or Bentley.
See, both these sides realise they're going to be in a tough game. No love lost between them. They really are giving it to each other.
It was Schofield's kick, and it's Schofield who leads the charge on Hampson as he collects this. And Hampson gets away from the scrum half and from Mercer. This is a great run from the full-back. He has Preston in support. Preston, good tackling, Fallon.
Didn't he do well, the former rugby union man there?
But then he let himself down because he took a second swipe at the ankle.
Did the tackle superbly and then just lifted him. There you see, that's enough. Played for it also, though, did Mark Preston. But what a great run from Steve Hampson. It's taken him a while to settle in, mainly through injuries when he transferred across from Wigan. But he's in top form now.
Yes, he's played in the last 5 and they have lost just 1. Southernwood then thought the better of giving the ball to big Carl Harrison. Harrison had just overrun him. Here's Gary Lord now. Remember, these two teams coming into this match on the back of the Good Friday fixtures. 2 games in just a little more than 48 hours. And that's good play.
It was lucky play as well. Lowe's definitely knocked that on while trying to get to the football. Wasn't seen, got away with it. But it was good defence from Leeds. They moved up quickly. See how they put pressure on him. It was Fallon again. And then when you see Lowe's get to it, that's a knock on.
Mercer gets the ball away as he fell to Harmon. Harmon takes it back into the heavy traffic.
Well, surely Leeds will use this big win now. They're finding it difficult to break through the solid defence. See how Halifax move up very quickly. They're forcing Leeds into one-man football.
Harvey Howard straight at Schuster. Last tackle here for Leeds. Holroyd to Schofield. Will Schofield kick? No, he gives it to Tate. Tate gives it to Iro. Leeds are running this ball with the big centre. Gets the ball back. Holroyd tried to hack it forward and it hit the prone body of Southernwood. And Halifax have it back.
Well, all I can think of is that Leeds has been told by their coach Doug Lawton that we must run with the football. Forget about kicking. I'm not so sure that that's the best option, but that's what they're playing like.
Bishop thundered by Harmon, finished off by James Lowes. Southernwood to Lord. It's all straight down the middle at the moment from both sides.
Well, the difference between the two sides is Halifax is running the angles and bringing the ball back on the inside as well.
Last tackle here for Halifax, and Bishop slices one of those kicks up into the air. It catches the wind, and Tate this time takes it very confidently.
Super Tate. There was only one man going to get to that. Eyes on the football at all time. Aggressive.
Leeds in possession then. Francis Cummins will pick himself up. James Lowes gives it to Mercer. Mercer's running strongly. Malcolm Reilly, the Halifax coach, once in charge here at Leeds, of course, and the careers of both Reilly and Doug Lawton, the Leeds coach, have got almost hand in glove. They were fierce rivals in the 70s as players, fierce rivals now as coaches, and Malcolm Reilly remains the last Leeds coach to bring silverware here to Headingley. I wonder whether Doug Lawton will alter that record on the 30th of April at Wembley.
Much better play from Leeds. A nice kick downfield, and the chase is there. That's good tackling from Iro.
Thunderous challenge by Iro on Mark Preston, once teammates at Wigan.
That's far better play. Good defensive effort from Leeds now, and you'll see that it's difficult for Halifax to get this ball deep. It's such a strong wind. It won't go too far.
Harrison just wheeled that in one-handed, and this has been a good tackling stint by Leeds. Halifax penned inside their own half. That looked a touch forward. The kick from Bishop was charged down by Lowes. And Halifax under a bit of pressure.
Well, he can't believe his luck, and the hooker did the right thing, charged it down. That could have gone directly towards the in-goal area, and that would have been a try. Lady Luck deserting Lowes there.
Fed by Bishop to Hagan. Now Paul Round. Signed on the Challenge Cup deadline. The 30-year-old. Gutierrez had another little snap at him then. Round looked out of the side of his eye to referee John Holdsworth. No penalty. No penalty there either for Lowe's interfering. Halifax rolling forward with Harrison. Gets the ball away neatly to Gary Law. Lloyd is tracked by Hanley. Good chase by the lead skipper. Hallis at dummy half. He finds Bishop, who finds Hagan. Hagan thinks about releasing the pass, does so to Boyd. Boyd is hauled down by Cummins. Good job by the youngster. Bishop, it's back to Hagan. Long ball out wide to Bentley, who is in. John Bentley against his former club. 19th try of the season. He had 4 years here at Headingley and he will have enjoyed that moment.
Great play from Hagan. The long ball out wide. You'll notice that the long ball out there was not marked, and Bentley had a clear run to the line there. And this was brought about because it had to be a late tackle from Francis Cummins to save the day, so that meant the winger had to come in there, and Paul Cook had nothing that he could do about that. Look at this beautiful pass there by the Australian. You can see Cook has just drifted inside. This is the build-up to it. Now the tackle there was done, and you can see how Hagan just brings the two players across, back inside. Now it had to be a tackle from Francis Cummins, and that meant there's the tackle from Cummins, and you can see that Cummins should be in the centre. It's not his problem. He had to come back and recover.
Bentley then played in the World Sevens in February, and he collected his second cap against the French in Carcassonne. John Schuster, meanwhile. This is a very difficult chance from far out on the touchline in this wind. Got chances. Oh, that's a great kick. That is a magnificent kick in these conditions, believe me. Schuster, with that, makes it 50 goals for the season.
You can see the circle player, Paul Cook, has had to come in from the wing, and the rest is easy for Bentley. A beautiful long pass from Hagan, misses out 3 players, and nobody stops him from that angle.
John Bentley will have enjoyed that moment. Leeds restart with Holroyd, trailing by 8 points to 0. They were billed as the party poopers, and at the moment they are spoiling things. Halifax. Southernwood is the dummy half. It goes through his legs. Schofield and Round tangling. Bishop is there at dummy half, and he gives it to Harrison. Back in support was Bishop. He finds Devorty. Devorty all wrapped up by Schofield. Southernwood to Gary Law. On to the halfway line, but grounded by Mercer and James Lowe's.
It's been a good performance from the Halifax pack. They really have worked hard, shared the work.
That's a good take by Alan Tate. He was chasing that back. It was held up in the wind rather, and Schuster, the man who came in to close him down, but an excellent take by the Leeds fullback.
Well, it's a difference between the two sides, isn't it? We see a good kicking game from Halifax playing into this very strong wind, whereas Leeds have the advantage of a strong wind. They're not using it. Halifax going through the basic play. Leeds, they've lost their way.
Mercer, can he inject some life into it? Gets away from Hallis, but couldn't get away from Boyd. New Zealand international Gary Mercer picks himself up. Another New Zealand international, Kevin Iro, finds Hanley. It's the last challenge on the 24th minute here. And Holroyd with the left-footed kick downfield. Hampson traps it with the outside of his boot. Halifax then back in possession. Michael Jackson, one of their injured internationals, is on the touchline with Bill Arthur.
Mike, that's a pretty good start for Halifax.
Yeah, you know, the lads look keyed up, both sides actually, and I was just going to say the defence is good from both sides, but good try from John Bentley in the corner, and you know, hopefully we can go on and win the game.
How important is this one fixture for you against local rivals like Leeds?
It's very important, really. I mean, every game now, back into the season, it's you know, we're heading for the top 4. Depending on how other teams go, we've had a good win, Bradford, Castleford, and you know, our spirits are high, and I can't see really why we shouldn't do it today if we play with confidence and plenty of aggression.
Well, they're playing with confidence and plenty of aggression. This is Bishop, and Hanley got to that second time, and the ball went backwards. The referee is right.
Totally correct. Good play by Hanley there. He put his body on the line in between Bishop's kick. Not an easy thing to do. He's a super athlete, went down on that very well indeed.
Fallon using lots of strength. This is Schofield to Harman. And Harman, that looked a high challenge to me. Harrison was there, Devorty also. There looked a stray arm into Harman's face.
There certainly was.
Play on, says the referee, with Richie Ayres, and he was looking round the corner as Tate came in behind him. Here's Hanley. Good tackling, Devorty.
This is boiling up. It'll be a hard time now for the referee, John Holdsworth. And a few words spoken.
Devorty was adjudged to have interfered with Hanley as he tried to get to his feet, and then had a back chat at the referee, disputing the decision.
Well, you can see Devorty trying to knock the ball away. Sorry, Devorty with the other, sorry, the tackle. There's also another Halifax player trying to knock the ball away. Well, they just lost their marbles a bit, and of course a little bit of back chat added the extra 10 metres, and this allows the youngster Graham Holroyd to attempt their first points of the day.
Yes, the wind is behind Holroyd. It's bang in front, 20, 30, 36 metres out, I'd say. If he hits it straight, gives it plenty of height, Leeds could be off the mark. Hits the post and goes over. Leeds are on the board, courtesy of the boot of Graham Holroyd, an outstanding 18-year-old.
He won't mind the fact that it came in off the post. There you can see it. Bounced well and truly over. Touch judges in wonderful position, as they should be.
So Leeds underway, 8 points to 2, 27 minutes gone. Both these sides with thoughts of Old Trafford on the 22nd of May, Premiership Finals Day. Leeds have won the Premiership before a couple of times, but they've never ever been to Old Trafford. Halifax got to the Premiership final in '86 as champions, hammered by Warrington at Ellen Road the year before the switch to Old Trafford. They have competed the second division Premiership since then. But how they would both love to be involved in the big one. Iro. So vital to the Leeds cause, Kevin Iro, with runs like that and passes to Hanley. Leeds are swarming up in support. Hanley's taken high by Hallis. That's going to be a penalty.
We can do without that. Hallis, look at this swinging arm. I'm going to get you, mate, and he did. Well, another great break from Iro. You could see the skipper from Leeds, Ellery Hanley, make the break. He sets off down the middle so often. When the ball goes out wide, he trots forward. Another good break from Iro. He's so strong. Determination. You can see that Hanley originally was 4 or 5 metres in front. You can do that. Open play, you can't be offside, but that is a high tackle. And one Graham Hallis is a somewhat lucky guy.
Hallis has missed just 3 all season. Hanley is still on the floor and receiving treatment. But what a run it was from Kevin Iro. He is so important to this Leeds team. Scored a wonderful try at Wakefield on Friday, which I'm sure that you enjoyed with us in the pre-match build-up to this. And when he is in form, there isn't a more exciting sight in the big league than Iro in full flight. Hanley recovered, the magic sponge.
And I'm sure the Leeds fans quite happy. They won't be happy with that guy, though. So they'll be happy to see Kevin Iro back in superb form. He's the man that I'm sure that they will be looking for to have a huge game at Wembley.
So second penalty in quick succession for Graham Holroyd. As well as his excellent play, he's quite a kicker, this young boy. And there's another two. Deadly left foot. The deficit is reduced by half, courtesy of Holroyd's penalty kicking.
Well, they're clawing their way back. He'll be happy with the coach, Doug Lawton. But I don't think he'll be happy with the fact that Leeds have spilt so much possession. They really have not played out their six to the fullest, not playing to the game plan.
No, he doesn't look too happy, Malcolm, really, does he? 70 goals, by the way, now for Graham Holroyd this season. Such a bright prospect, such a talent. Here's Harman. Now Schofield, and Ayres was the runner. He called for that, Richie Ayres. Has to make a thorough journey over here to training Richie Ayres from his home in the Warrington area. Still not moved house despite his move from Widnes. But he has some good company. Harvey Howard lives not too far away from him.
Got a knock on the leg. Looks like a bit of a dead leg there for Schofield. Right on the thigh.
Back to Alan Tate. Tate drills one over the top. Straight into the arms of his opposite number, Steve Hampson. Rivals, of course, for so long for the Great Britain #1 jersey. And Bentley stepped inside Cummins. Tries to go outside Cook. Hampson continues the run in support. Good job that Harvey Howard got the ankle tap, but Schofield is down and still receiving treatment. So Leeds reduced to 12 men at the moment to try and weather this attack from Halifax, led by Devorty. Good tackling by Richie Ayres.
Well, it was a good run from Steve Hampson, but that came about by the ball being drilled right down the man's throat. And that's a high tackle
by Mercer on Harrison.
Now Mercer made it look bad because he jumped, but you could see the impact was onto the ball, but he finished into the face. Often happens. The aim at the ball. In this modern day, the coaches say try to hit ball and all, try to dislodge it away from possession. Looks like a dead leg for Schofield. Let's hope he's okay.
This is the way he got injured, Steve-O, the tackle coming in.
Well, I think
Hallis is there, Southernwood there.
Yeah, drop there with the knees from Hallis. Right into the thigh. All part and parcel of the game, of course. Accidental.
Nothing accidental, though, about Mercer's challenge on Harrison. It gives John Schuster the opportunity to stretch the Halifax lead again. Been pegged back in the last couple of minutes, courtesy of the boot of Holroyd. Can Schuster here now turn the Halifax lead into 6 points? Wind in his face. Missed it.
Oh, that's a vital miss. You should not miss from that range. Little tap on the back, encouragement, so don't worry about it.
Halifax about to make a change. Let's go downstairs to Bill.
Well, it looks as though it's a fairly sudden change, and Paul Anderson, one of their young substitutes, getting stripped off, and Gary Lord, it looks as though is going to come off. They're just digging the number out. They've had the 10 out. Another number is being looked for now, so exactly who is coming off, we're not sure. It looks as though it's going to be Gary Lord who will come off, and Paul Anderson will be coming on, a youngster who they signed from Leeds for £40,000. So another ex-Leeds man keen to get into the fray, and it will be number 10, Gary Lord, to come off very shortly.
Meanwhile, it's Halifax in possession, courtesy of Lord. This is Bishop. Now it's Hagan. Schuster hit that at full tilt. But a good tackle by Francis Cummins. Bishop. Harrison gets the ball away to Southernwood. Dances inside Ayres, but can't get round the rather considerable frame of Harvey Howard. Bishop. Diagonal kick. Hangs in the wind. Dancing little run from Paul Cook up to the 20-metre mark. Tate. Halifax seeing a lot more of the ball, aren't they, than the Challenge Cup finalists, 62 to 38%.
It's only in the last 10 minutes that Leeds really have played out their full set of 6 and used the kicking game. But even then I'm being critical of it because they're kicking to Hampson when really they should be powering it into the corner away from him.
Here's someone who can wreak havoc. Kevin Iro on halfway.
Swinging arm there from the prop forward Gary Lord, missed him thankfully.
Schofield appears to be completely recovered. Here's Tate, showed it to Fallon, then dabbed it down the wing.
Nice dummy from the Scottish fullback there. Didn't get the right bounce, but the idea was there. The right option. Brought Fallon on the inside as the dummy. The gap didn't appear. Good sliding defence from Halifax. Been quite impressed with the way that Halifax have moved in quickly.
Breaking play, so Halifax are making the change. Gary Lord is the man off and Paul Anderson the man who comes on. Anderson, who played 25 times for Leeds but only made 4 starts, but he comes on for the prop forward Gary Lord. So the Leeds, or the ex-Leeds contingent on the field now increases to 4. And another one, Lee Harlan, waiting on the bench to come on. It was important to players to do well against their former clubs. Bentley has done all right so far, hasn't he, on the wing for Halifax? Talking of
doing well there, Eddie. What a great take from Michael Hagan. It wasn't the best pass. Took it on his fingertips.
First touch for Anderson. Cruncher with Howard. Got away from it too. Almost lost his shirt in the process. This is Southernwood. Bishop. Devorty. No way through.
Halifax quite content to run the angled with the forwards and bring the ball back inside.
Good deep kick from Bishop, who is racing after it. Fallon picks it up eventually. And then Bishop almost got the tackle in. He needn't have worried. There were reinforcements coming up. Hagan pulled him down. Whoa. Tate was going down as that high challenge, or high-looking challenge, came in. Oh, it's a good long ball from Schofield to Cook. Couldn't get away from Bentley, who stuck to the task well.
Saw that the Halifax defence had tightened in. Good long pass from Schofield. Haven't seen much from Gary Schofield as yet in this first half. He seems quite content to just organise things at the first man at the play of the ball.
Dropped it there. The ball went back and play on, and that was good reaction from Carl Harrison, I think it is. Halifax back in possession with Hagan. Short ball to Schuster.
Well, it was never on. He should have gone down and played that football. Not happy with it either.
Boyd under pressure from Schofield. Southernwood, oh, the ball went through his legs, went backwards. Devorty drops it under that challenge from Harvey Howard. Tremendous tackle from the Leeds prop forward that. The ball just spilled out. Impact. Mercer pops it up for Iro. The strength of this fella. Fallon, he has some strength too. And the referee, John Holdsworth, awards Leeds the penalty. Interference again at the play of the ball.
Big prop forward Paul Anderson all over the winger. Now, can we see a full set of 6 and Leeds set up for something? They have yet to put on a move. The first time they put the run around on, they dropped the ball.
Howard. No way through for him.
Well, they're working up to set up for some move. Is it a switch to the blind or the kick?
Lows to Mercer. Good run from Mercer to Tate. That's good play. They've got men out wide. They must be home here. Forward pass. Referee says play on, but that was a mile forward for mine. But young Paul Cook won't complain. And Leeds are level.
For the first time, the Leeds forwards have pulled to the side. They'd worked the move on the crisscross. It was Mercer. Superb run at the angle. That created it. And when Tate linked in from the fullback position, he was badly missed by Schuster. An excellent play there from Francis Cummins. Superb pass out wide. Paul Cook takes the four. This is the dummy run. It was Ellery that went first, then Mercer. Look at the angle there. You can't afford to miss him. The two halfbacks, Hagan and Bishop, missed. And look at the superb play there. Perhaps a hint, or more than a hint, of the forward. But as Eddie mentioned, Paul Cook, superb. Let's see it again. Cummins did the right thing. He draws Hampson, and yes, Eduardo is correct. It was forward. But Cook won't mind.
New name for Easter, eh? Cook then has levelled the scores, and just as they did in the semi-final against St Helens, Leeds have soaked up all that pressure, and they've come back strongly towards the half-time interval this time. Holroyd just misses, tried to slide the ball over, but it's 8-all, it's level, and we're in stoppage time, first half.
You can see there how Tate chimes into the back line, and there's only one man left, and it's 2-on-1. Hampson has to come across. He's got to take Cummins, and the youngster did well. Great centre play by Francis Cummins. Made a name for himself on the wing so far, but has had an exceptional game today, both in attack and defence.
Paul Cook, the try scorer, by the way, became one of the youngest in Leeds history when he made his debut 12 months ago as a 16-year-old. All excellent insurance, this, for the future of this club at Headingley. And of course, lots of old-timers will remind you that the youngsters last played a big part in Leeds' success. But here's a fellow who is playing an enormous part. Iro with a magnificent run and a wonderful try. Burst onto that football, shot through the cover, and there was nobody there at home to stop him. His second impressive four-pointer of this Easter holiday.
Well, it's the beast that scores it, but it's Richie Ayres that makes it. Nice run on the blind side. He sucked in two Halifax defenders, and when this guy gets on the rampage, build a beast, any beast, a four-point beast this time. That was wonderful play from Leeds. They took the gamble of attacking from within their own quarter, and it paid off. But look at that, superb play. Hagan and Hallis were sucked into one man. You cannot afford to do that. And even for a big man, he does the step early. Steve Hampson is clutching it there, and the man is under the post. He loves doing that.
Great try from Kevin Iro, and it gives Leeds a half-time advantage as Holroyd jogs off for a well-earned half-time cuppa from bang in front of the posts. Bentley with the try, thought he had got a stranglehold on this match for Halifax, but Holroyd with the kicks and then Iro with that late try have given Leeds the advantage. Cook with a try also. It's 14-8 to Leeds, and after all that pressure, Halifax are behind.
One of the most blatant penalty offences is the trip. This is when a player is deliberately brought down by an opponent's foot. On this occasion, the leg is deliberately pushed out. This brings about the trip and resulting in a penalty to the non-offending side.
Half-time here at Headingley, 14-8 to Leeds. They trailed for much of that first half, didn't they? But two late tries from Cook and Iro, added to the 3 goals from Holroyd, gives them a 6-point advantage at the break. Bentley and Schuster with 2 goals for Halifax. Steve-O, it's just like the semi-final. Leeds soaked up all that pressure from St Helens and went out and won it. I wonder if the same's going to happen here.
Well, it looks that way. It took Leeds a while to get into the swing of things. They just lost possession so many times very early in the piece. And I think halfway through that first half, I think Halifax nearly had double the possession, and they really should have stretched them out. They missed a vital goal. Schuster should have kicked that goal. But full credit to Leeds. I was very critical of the fact that they were not using the kicking game as it should be done in this half. They've got this gale force wind behind them, and they're not using it. And the times that they did kick, they were right down the throat of Steve Hampson. And we saw on a couple of occasions that Hampson set the winger Bentley away. And I thought that Halifax were all over them. But being critical of the fact they didn't use the kick was the fact that they wanted to throw the ball out wide. And the first time that they really set it up, the forwards went to the blind side, and then they got the ball moving out wide. We see cooking for a great try. Superb play.
Let's take a look at the 3 tries that were scored in that first half then. This is the Bentley try.
Oh, it was a super pass from Hagan. You could see that they were just caught a little bit light there, the Leeds defence. Francis Cummings had to come in and do a lot of defence. He's been one of their star players this half in defence, Cummings. He's really impressed me. But this is the first time. You can see Mercer running at the angle. It's the first time that the forwards have moved out to the wide, and the link. Superb link in there from the fullback Alan Tate. And full credit to Cummings, 17 years of age. OK, perhaps a hint of a forward, as you call it, Eddie, but you can't take anything away from the play. He positioned himself well. You could see how Cummings brought in the fullback Steve Hampson to him. And this is superb. Richie Ayres, you could see they brought in Hagan and Graham Hallis. You can't have 2 men going for one. It was a superb pass from within your own quarter, and look at the man go. It's a great sight in rugby league. Superb running, nice step for such a big man, and doesn't he enjoy doing that? And I'm sure the fans will hope he's doing exactly that at Wembley in a few weeks' time.
So Leeds ahead by 14 points to 8 then here at half-time. Of course, the big league is really boiling up into quite a finish, isn't it? And such a significant match taking place this afternoon at Central Park. Wigan against the new league leaders, Warrington. They went top of the table Good Friday with the victory over Widnes.
Warrington are still right in the hunt after an impressive start gave them the edge over Widnes. Mark Forster touching down Greg Mackey's grubber kick. When Warrington won this scrum against the head, Jonathan Davis took Mackey's pass and sliced through the Widnes cover to go over and seemingly put his side comfortably in charge. But another big Welsh star started the Widnes comeback. Paul Moriarty charging onto Steve McCurry's pass to go over. And early in the second half, Warrington really were wobbling when Carl Hammond's burst took him clean through. Hammond scored plenty this season. This time he set up David Ruane, who managed to go over. No double movement, according to the referee. Goulding converted, Widnes led 14-10, but Warrington responded to the situation with great character. Kelly Shelford going over to restore their lead. And then second row Bob Jackson stole the show with 2 tries, bursting onto a pass from Roland Phillips. And then the second, a cheeky tap and follow-up from the play the ball. Jackson helping Warrington to a vital 28 points to 14 victory.
And that's how it looks at the top of the table coming into all today's matches. We've kicked off here early at Headingley. Leeds in 8th against Halifax in 5th, but Warrington with the 2-point advantage. Matches running out for them, though, but what for Wigan and Bradford? It looks like it's coming down to those two, doesn't it?
Well, we say that, but we've said that Warrington have been dead and buried, what, 3 times in the last 4 weeks? But they keep kicking that coffin lid off and keep coming back, and anything can happen over the next few weeks. A lot of games have got to be played midweek, especially Wigan, and they could tire. It could, but they're still my favourites. I still think that Wigan, with their experience and also their depth, will just sneak it, and I think they'll win it on points difference again.
We shall see. Wigan against Warrington, of course, this afternoon, but they're all in Easter celebratory mood here, aren't they, at Headingley? And no wonder. They're off to Wembley, and who knows, they might be off to Old Trafford. This fella, Kevin Iro, could take them anywhere. Tremendous try in the first half. More to come in the next 40, I'm sure.
Welcome back to Headingley. 14-8 Leeds lead. Cook and Iro, Bentley with the tries, Holroyd with 3 and Schuster with 2. But it's Leeds who are ahead. The match facts from the first half. Really the team tackles mirroring the possession. Only 4 scrums in the game. 8 of the penalties going to Leeds, to 4 of Halifax. and 7 handling errors. Leeds have made just 1 more. The abiding memory of that first half, though, that try from Kevin Iro. Collected the ball inside his own half and shot in under the posts, no problem at all. And a big smile from the Great Britain captain. I wonder if he will reach the legendary Mick Sullivan's total of 46. He could do it, of course, in the Aussie Series next autumn. Early start to the Stones Bit of Championship this Easter Monday. Big match here at Headingley. Leeds ahead 14-8 against the Halifax side, who have beaten Bradford and Castleford in their last 2 outings. They have to do it the hard way this time, though, coming from behind, and here at Headingley against the Cup finalists. Fallon in possession for them. Now it's Harmon. And of course Old Trafford very much on the minds of the players of both sides here today. The top 8 Premiership begins the week after Wembley. And Old Trafford, the Wembley of the North, beckons for Premiership Finals Day, hopefully in the sunshine on May the 22nd. Hanley releases a pass to Tate, who finds Howard. He in turn gives it to Holroyd, who will hack the ball downfield. Preston is underneath it, though, for Halifax. And good tackling by Cummins. Will beat by 1 day the record of Sean Edwards. 17 years, 6 months and 18 days he will be when he gets to Wembley. The number 4 for Leeds, Francis Cummins. Harrison on the halfway line.
And I tell you what, Eddie, if they make Old Trafford Leeds, they can thank him for a good defensive effort today. He really has saved the day on quite a few occasions in the first half. Here comes the hailstones.
I think they call it snow where I come from. Halifax still on the halfway line.
Round pieces of snow now.
Bishop looping pass to Bentley. Left-footed and straight out.
Well, they won't be happy with that. In and out, trying to get the ball out wide, and you can see it just slice off the boot. Well, they must feel very confident, this Leeds outfit. Took them a while to get into the swing of things, but 2 tries late in that first half. They went in at half-time. I'm sure their coach, Doug Lawton, would be quite happy with it.
Is it Leeds year 1994? Mercer in possession for them, grounded by Hagan on halfway. Craig Innes is on the touchline with Bill Arthur.
Craig, it took you a bit of time to get going, but that end to the first half looks as though you're just getting in the mood.
Yeah, things starting to come right the last 10 minutes, and you know, Halifax has done a lot of good work in that first half, and still down by 14-8. So, you know, maybe if we can score first in this half, you know, the heads might go down a little bit.
And Kevin Iro, that try from him, he certainly does seem to be in great form at the moment.
Yeah, Kev's really starting to hit strips now. He had a well of a game on Friday night. Really looked good, and you know, he's only going to get more and more confident now, and it's good for the team.
The kick downfield from Graham Holroyd. Hampson got a toe to it, and so it will be Leeds head and feet at this scrum.
Hampson can't believe it. Well, I don't think he got anywhere near it. Touch judge agrees with me. And I think the noise from the Leeds fans underneath us qualify that.
Well, I think Bishop just about fed that scrum, but no matter. Bentley has it for Halifax. 4 minutes or thereabouts, second half gone. Halifax in possession, knock on by Schuster. Those icy fingers.
Well, there was no pressure applied to him. You could see that Kevin Iro was standing across, more intent to fit into the sliding defence. So had all the time in the world at the Kiwi Schuster. And this is where Leeds should make it pay.
Leeds head and feet at the scrum. Schofield, scrum half. Tate. Good run from Tate. Fallon Good strength from Fallon. Good strength from the Halifax defence.
Nice work move on the blind side there, taking on the tight side. Tate coming through on the burst.
Schofield, diagonal kick into space. Cummins after it, Cook after it, Bentley gets it. And then is hauled into touch by the two young 17-year-olds.
Well covered, good kick from Schofield. That's good play, isn't it? Nice combination, the two youngsters, Cummins and Cook. But it was an excellent kick from Gary Schofield. He saw that the sliding defence was well and truly compacted into the middle of the field. Only Bentley was a one-man out.
Referee just allowing Carl Harrison to get his head in the scrum. It's Holroyd, and now it's Cummins, who gets away from Hampson, who gets away from Schuster, but can't get away from Devorty. But he is an impressive young player, Francis Cummins, and here's another one, Holroyd. Really has been the season of the young players here at Headingley, hasn't it? Lows to Gary Mercer. That was high by Paul Round.
The referee John Holdsworth agrees with you, and it was. Mercer's coming for a fair amount of stick in this game. He's worked hard, Gary Mercer. And you can see over the top of the head. A little word also for Roy Southernwood, the Halifax hooker. Had a few choice words to say to John Holdsworth, so the referee brought him back and said, it's my turn to have a few words to you, young man.
Ellery Hanley just weighs up the pros and cons and says that Graham Holroyd will have a shot at goal from this penalty. Left-footed kicker, right side of the pitch for him. Wind in his face, but this should be another 2 for Leeds. Holroyd clips it over the top of the bar. Remember, in the first half, Schuster missed one from a similar range, but not so the 18-year-old. And Halifax want to restart quickly. Hampson with a deep kick. Tate collects it.
Wonderful position there from Alan Tate. And he's got round again. Throwing the elbow. The forearm. There's Tate coming through. Round swings it, and this it comes. Whoa, take that. Well, that's the third occasion. And the referees had a few words to say to Paul Round, the big second row from Halifax. You must be on thin ice.
Gary Schofield was quick to point out that that was the third time that Round had been spoken to by John Holdsworth. He stays on the field though. There's a robust run from Harvey Howard.
Wasn't too happy with the hooker, Roy Southernwood, with the way that Howard went in with the elbow. Oh, this is warming up.
Mercer gets away from 3, runs straight, and Hallis still going Mercer. Takes some stopping when he's in full flight like that. Here's Hanley. Turning, thinking about releasing the pass, but Hallis was all over him, wrapping the ball up. Lows to Iro. Always danger for Halifax when this fella gets the ball. Oh, look at this from Iro. Magnificent. And suddenly Kevin Iro has hit the best possible form, and that's great news for Leeds and bad news for the rest.
If you don't go low, you cannot stop this man. The fend off there was superb. And the speed for such a big fellow. He knows he's got the 4 points. Acceleration is superb. A call on the blind side. Second marker. A missed tackle And look at that. Sliced his way through like a hot knife through butter. And the game is going all the way to Leeds now.
Holroyd with the conversion, and he floats another one over. So suddenly Leeds have taken complete control here at the end of the first half and start of the second. 22-8.
You can see the gap between the centre and the wingman, and that is enough for him to take the option of going outside the man.
And here he is again now, Iro on the hat-trick. Well, 5 minutes immediately before half-time and 10 minutes after, and Leeds have taken this game by the scruff of the neck. It's been an impressive quarter and a half for them.
It's been a purple patch, but it's been brought about by the Leeds forwards rolling the sleeves up and really getting themselves involved, especially Gary Mercer. He's worked tirelessly there in the pack. He started running not just straight, but running at the angles, and it's paying off.
Schofield does well, finds Holroyd. Last tackle this for Leeds, who have monopolised the First Division meetings over the past 20 years. On course now for win number 16. And it's all coming off for Leeds. That kick downfield from Schofield caught the breeze, bounced kindly.
It's amazing, isn't it? Playing into a stiff breeze this second half, and Leeds offer a better kicking game than they did in the first. And that was good thinking. The experience of Gary Schofield showing there, and that the way that Halifax have started this second half, making quite a few mistakes, the option of kicking deep and hoping that perhaps they will make yet another mistake.
Another Leeds old boy comes onto the park for Halifax. Lee Harland, a £15,000 signing from Leeds, who played 8 games here last season. Well, he's on, and David Boyd is the man who's come off.
Here goes Bentley. Bentley tracked by Fallon and well picked up by Jim Fallon. Thought for a moment Bentley was going to do an Iro, but Fallon had other ideas. Here's Devorty. Good tackle, Holroyd. Halifax on attack with Southernwood. Dabs the ball forward. Hampson's after it, but it's too strong.
Good thinking by the hooker. He saw that the Leeds were caught short on the blind side, opted to kick a little bit too long, the wind just getting to it. Could also see that Alan Tate was up in the line. Tate dramatically getting back as quick as he could. And that was a stamp with a boot. Well, he really is running on thin ice all round. Looked to me as though a stray boot went onto one of the Leeds players' legs.
Harmon in possession for Leeds, though. Stopped by 2. It is again.
Well, no doubt, is there?
No lasting damage done, hopefully. Here's Tate. Kick over the top, as you say, Steve-O. They're employing the kicks more against the wind than they did with the wind in the first half.
And it's paying off. The chasing game is good. The kick is only as good as your chases. That'll be a knock-on back to 1. Back to 6, should I say.
Hampson trying to get away from Hanley, couldn't do. And Hanley interfering as Hampson tried to get to his feet quickly. Hanley wanted to get the right side of him.
Well, he's a past master of it, isn't he? There you can see Hanley's hand, perhaps, not in a very good position.
Made some ground with that penalty. Bentley's in possession, but Leeds, the defence, standing firm, only just courtesy of Mercer, who hauled Bentley down. Here's Anderson. Stopped just 8 metres short of the posts. What would Halifax give for 6 points here? Put them right back in the hunt. Devorty to Schuster. Can't get through Schofield.
Well, Halifax put on the switch move there, and everyone was stood still. There wasn't a runner. There is now.
That was round. Releases the pass to Southernwood. who slips. Well, for a side that's in such good form, Halifax looking a touch out of sorts here. Can Hagan engineer something with Bishop? Now, Leeds have been quite brittle in this department this season in defence, and they have to weather another 6 tackles here. Anderson tried to barge his way to the line. They're now a metre short again. Halifax. Big ask of this Leeds defence. Bishop to Hagan. Quick ball to Devorty, who drops it, and that's a knock-on. And Ellery Hanley applauds his defence.
Put that down to Gareth Schofield. You could see he put so much pressure on Michael Hagan. He had to get the ball away quickly, but not accurately. Apply the pressure, the mistakes will quite often come.
Schofield then feeds this scrum, and it comes back almost for Paul Bishop. Schofield just applied the air brakes at the right time, and Round now has a swing at Schofield.
He's gone. He's got to go.
Well, it's a sin bin. It's a yellow card, not red.
Well, he's lucky.
And the referee wants a word with Hampson, who disagreed with the decision. So Leeds have been marched another 10.
Well, we said he was on thin ice and he'd had to crack sometime. He lost his marbles, threw the right punch again. He's been wound up.
I think they suggested there was a little bit of a nudge from Schofield's head there, but Paul Round lost his cool completely. And now he has got.
Let's hope the others don't do similar. This really is boiling up again.
John Holdsworth working overtime to try and separate the players. Ayres, no way through for him then.
Touched her, John.
Yes, it was Anderson who came in over the top.
Well, when you get former players involved, you could see Anderson's elbow. Then he went back and had a second go at him. As I say, when you get players coming back to their old club, a lot of niggling, a lot of talk between the two players.
Obvious to see from John Holdsworth, it was for the use of the elbow, that penalty. And Holroyd with the kick into the stands. So Leeds will come again with Neil Harmon.
Well, this is where to put on a move, especially when the opposition is really fired up. They have a tendency to go high rather than low.
Huge penalty count against Halifax. Leeds trying to make them pay with Mercer. Good tackle by Hampson. Hanley couldn't hang on to it. Lowe's can, so can Fallon. But the referee has given Halifax the penalty. Somebody was pulling somebody off the ball.
Well, it was a good switch of play. Super move from Leeds. Big second rower, Gary Mercer striding through. Takes the tackle of Hampson. And whilst the ball went backwards, you can see that Hanley was pushing Paul Bishop out of the way. Whilst not in possession of the football. Cannot interfere with the player unless he is carrying the football. You can use a shoulder charge if you are both running in the same direction towards a loose ball. But other than that, it's a penalty.
Southern Wood is receiving treatment while this penalty is taken. The Halifax hooker. So Bishop will restart. Here's Anderson.
Well, there's still plenty of time for Halifax to get back into this game, especially when you got the likes of John Bentley and Mark Preston, two very fast wingers. And that, I'm afraid, is the key that Halifax have to start looking towards now, taking a few gambles, throwing a long ball out wide, missing the odd player out.
Well, they may as well at 22 points to 8 down. Nearly a quarter of this match to go, though. Plenty of time for Halifax to come back. Harrison, Leeds player down injured.
Looks like the hooker James Lowe's caught a stray boot.
Knock on, says the referee. Carl Harrison says the ball was stolen. John Holdsworth will have none of it.
Well, interference perhaps from Richie Ayres. Looks quite clear to me that Harrison did drop it. And a groggy James Lowe's walks towards the touchline. Safety first from the Leeds coach, Doug Lawton.
Vasilakopoulos comes on. He is a hooker, and James Lowe's is the man who goes off. And James Lowe's has actually been playing on with a bit of a hernia problem. The fear is that he might need surgery, but they hope it will be after Wembley, not before. So probably as a precaution, Lowe's taken off, and here comes Cummins. Now, was that a flop by Anderson?
Of course it was. That was a swinging arm as well.
By Harrison.
Let's hope that John Holdsworth keeps a pretty tight control of this. Tempers are fraying.
Good tackling by Schuster, then three more come in. Bishop, Bentley and Southernwood to finish young Paul Cook off. Vasilakopoulos, the dummy half, he finds Howard. Here's Schofield. Clips it over the top with the outside of the boot, straight into the arms of Hampson. Hallis. Southernwood. Bishop.
Well, that's unbelievable. The Halifax players there, there's 12 of them. You could put a satellite dish over the lot of them. I cannot believe that. They were all stood there, and it was left to Roy Southernwood, and you saw the disgust on Paul Bishop's face, saying, come on, fellas.
Leeds making fewer handling errors, and I noticed earlier too the penalty count is enormous in Leeds' favour. Iro on a hat-trick, here he goes again. Good tackle this time from Schuster. Hanley the dummy half to Schofield, short pass. Leeds in charge, second half, no doubt. Holroyd, Hanley. Here's Ayres. Vasilakopoulos drops it. The habit is catching.
Well, the substitute barely got into the game. Vasilakopoulos not happy with it. Talented youngster though.
Hagan to Bentley. Bentley to Schuster. I must say, Steve-O, this Francis Cummins, the number 4 today for Leeds, he's growing in confidence every match he plays.
Yeah, he's a talented player. He's played the centre quite a lot. He knows what it's all about. He really has worked well today.
Certainly a name to watch out for in the future. Harrison, that's a better drive, and that's good support from Haaland. Southernwood. Ducks under the challenge from Iro to Bishop to Hagan. Hallis called for that on the inside. Good tackle, Harman. Here's Bishop again, now Hagan, and he has seen something over that far side, has he? Yes, he has. He's called Kevin Iro.
Superb take. Cool under pressure. Now it's important that Halifax really do get the defence sorted out. Uh-oh. Harrison looks towards. Little bit of munchies. You can see Jim Fallon say, how can I do that? I've got a mouth guard in. Not only Easter eggs have been bitten into by the looks of things. Well, you can see Harrison, who wasn't happy with it, turned straight to the referee. And he's not pointing to a tattoo, that's for sure.
Jim Fallon claimed he was innocent, but referee John Holdsworth wants a word with him and wants a word with Carl Harrison also. You mentioned Easter, Steve-O, but the snow or hailstones, if you like, continue to fall here at Headingley. Is it Easter or is it Christmas?
It's Easter and they're hailstones.
And that was a bite, according to Carl Harrison, but he has been penalised for the swinging arm. Here's Harman. Quarter of an hour of this match left, and Harman, I think, has been pulled out for the use of the elbow.
Well, talk about patience from the referee, John Holdsworth. Biting, elbows. Oh well, let's get on with it.
That's what Paul Anderson says. But Leeds, I think, want to make sure that they don't score another try here. They really are defending as though they're just 1 point ahead, never mind 22-8. Devorty to Harrison on the charge. And that ball spills out, and that's a knock-on. And there's another decision that Harrison debates.
He tried to get up very quickly and get on with it. You can see there he's lost control of it again.
Yes, there's no doubt that time.
It's been attended to by Vasilikopoulos. Just got it out.
Here comes Iro. Oh, and Cummins' first mistake. And Hallis, can he capitalise? Not this time, but referee Holdsworth gives Halifax the penalty for holding down in the tackle. And Hallis a little frustrated. Bishop wants to get on with it quickly. Finds Hagan. Oh, and he misses out Bentley. Now Hampson keeps the ball alive to Hagan once more. Preston running back across the face of play. Can something come out here for Preston? The only thing that comes out is Cummins to haul him down with a bit of help from Harvey Howard. Southernwood to Anderson, and Paul Round is back on the field, by the way, to increase the Halifax complement, as John Holdsworth says that Anderson dropped this ball and it was not stolen, but, well, Mr. Hanley.
The left hand, well, that's a problem. It's a rule that has caused a lot of controversy over the past few seasons.
Leeds in possession then, but right underneath their own sticks. Halifax need a good tackling stint here. They're getting it so far. That's good play. Good swarming, scrambling defence.
Problem is that the referee John Holdsworth has to move into the play the ball area because there's been so much happening there.
Great run this from Tate. Pulled down eventually by Schuster, who's leaning all over him, and that's a penalty. Leeds. Schuster, the professional foul, trying to let his defence marshal itself after such a great job too.
Well, he knows the importance of trying to hold it down. Tate trying to get up and play the ball quickly. He knows that the Halifax defence was not set up, didn't get away with it. But getting back to that point about the referee, Holdsworth is having to go into the play the ball area because there's so much niggling going on that the 10 metres has barely just been thrown out of the window.
Hanley with the run. Thought twice about releasing the ball, Hanley. Vasilikopoulos to Howard. Missed by Harland. Tackled by the smallest man on the Halifax field, and that's Bishop. There's Cummins again. Schofield, shaped here for the kick, set himself up for that. Just dropped it into the corner. Hampson collects it behind his own line.
That was a super kick and chase from Leeds there. They really have improved on that in this second half.
Risky business there from Bentley.
Well, at 22-8, they've got to try something. Bentley, a pass master at doing the long-range tries. And boy, oh boy, don't Halifax need one now. Time is their enemy. It's ticking away.
Ball round, gets the ball away to Hagan. He finds Devorty. This is a better attack. Devorty trying to keep the ball alive, but it's Leeds who have it back.
Well, he tried to do the right thing, but there was just no support. Michael Hagan not fast enough to get to the support play.
Tate in support, gets it to Fallon. There's acres ahead of Fallon. Hampson won't stop it, and Fallon comes round and improves the angle for the conversion. And Jim Fallon with the big smile. That says it all. 14 tries now for the season for the Leeds winger. 9 tries in his last 10 before today.
Ball brought about by a lovely little pass back side, but Alan Tate has linked up superbly from the full-back position. Sucked in the winger and then just threw the little dummy. Hampson had no chance. He's a big guy, Jim Fallon. Once he gets on away, he's a hard man. But it was a great call on the blind side from Mercer. Look how he runs at the in and out and the angle, throws the dummy. You can see that Round took that dummy, and Tate, who'd linked through, ball out wide. There's nobody at home. A little dummy inside was enough to just make Steve Hampson hesitate for a moment. The result is 4 points. Great play.
Jim Fallon, 15 tries in 33 appearances in his debut season. Holroyd just jogging back. The conversion just missed. So 26 points to 8. The Leeds advantage. And Leeds will confirm their place in the top 8 at the end of the Easter period. It's been a very productive Easter for the Cup finalists.
It sure has, but the major thing is the fact that they played so confident in the second half. 2 tries late in that first half put them in the driving seat, but they really have got it together. Forwards have worked hard, they've linked well, they've tackled well, they've got the defence sorted out well.
Simon Irving there in 14 has come on the field, and Neil Harmon is the man who has gone off. Harmon off and Irving on. And Gary Lord has returned to the fray for Halifax in place of Roy Southernwood. Meanwhile, Iro has been there from the start and has really caught the eye with his 2 tries.
Now, one of the problems for the Leeds side, remember they know they're already booked for the place at Wembley, and it's not to do anything stupid. Not to lose their marbles, to keep control of this. Be professional all the way through till the end.
Now Preston, is this the time for a special? No, that's great defence from Jim Fallon. Superb running back by Fallon, and Preston, believe me, is no slouch.
Well, he took him on the inside and outside, but Fallon never gave up the chase, did he? And that is a winger's best friend, the white line that goes all the way down the side of the field.
Let's just confirm that Halifax substitution for you. Roy Southernwood, the hooker, is off, and Gary Lord has returned.
That really was super second effort from the winger, Jim Fallon. As you mentioned, Eddie, he's no slouch, Mark Preston, and he really hit the gas that time.
Jim Fallon about to make a little bit of history, isn't he? Twickenham 1 or 2 years ago, and now Wembley.
Well, this is a point where a few players may be tempted to square things. Let's hope they don't.
As well as those 2 famous venues for Fallon, I wonder whether Old Trafford will be added to them. But Halifax are trying to snap back here now. And here's Bentley again. Good tackling by Alan Tate. Leeds certainly in the mood to remain unbeaten up towards the Cup final and have a real tilt at Old Trafford. Harrison. Well, despite the try that came in the first half, Halifax so far have really found it difficult to pierce this Leeds defence.
They've worked very hard. The scrambling defence is good. They're really working for each other, and that's important.
Hagan with the ball to Hallis. Hallis trying to step inside, gets it away to Hagan again. Hagan so close, and Hagan just held up. And he almost lost the ball. Schuster, Hanley shot out to try and stop the pass. This is Bishop. Bishop's pass goes to ground, picked up by Bentley. Bentley will run round the back. Play on, says the referee. Oh, and he was clobbered Bentley there in the act of scoring.
Well, that was stupid play from Alan Tate. We said earlier, don't lose your marbles. Now, is this going to be an 8-point try? It was a very late play. Bishop got up a scrambling ball. Hampson got it through, and it just bounced. Now, that came off the foot. That is play on. Good thinking from Bentley, but he scores, and look at this. Well, I've seen 8-point tries given, which is an extra chance to kick right in front. You'll see that it comes off the foot. That's play on. You play to the whistle. Bentley certainly did that. But what on earth was Alan Tate thinking of here?
Well, he missed him completely, didn't he?
Good job he did.
Schuster then. 2 from 3. Wind at his back. Misses again. But he's taken over goal-kicking responsibilities from Paul Bishop. But I wonder for how long. 26-12, Leeds ahead. And no penalty in front of the sticks. Alan Tate. Lucky boy, Steve-O.
Certainly was. For those perhaps that's new to our game, if a man in the act of scoring is fouled, then it's up to the referee, who can give an extra penalty kick after the conversion attempt. And it is directly in front of the post, that penalty kick, of which we call an 8-point try. And wouldn't Halifax love to have had that?
Of course, Tate and Bentley were teammates in the Great Britain World Sevens tournament in Sydney in February.
They didn't share a room by the look of things.
Devorty with the run, halted by Hanley and then by Iro. Gary Lord unloads the ball to Hagan. Hampson called for it. Bentley wants it, another man on a hat-trick. Skips the ball back inside. Hampson will continue this movement going. Vasilakopoulos and Howard. And that ball was stolen. Referee absolutely right.
Hampson said, let's get on with it. Kicks directly into the touch. Full credit to Halifax, they're not throwing the towel in. Not much time left for them though.
Here's Anderson. Howard using the fist to thunder Anderson to the floor. Hagan to Harrison. Hagan again. Men out wide. Schuster. Schuster for the corner try. Halifax finishing with a late flourish.
Well, for once they've caught this Leeds defence napping, but it was only because of the fact they kept the ball alive. Hagan had the dummy run on the inside. Harrison went through a huge gap. Beautiful pass from Hagan. And Schuster just hit the dummy there. Gary Mercer hesitated. It was enough for him to squeeze into the corner for a consolation try. It's all about skills, and Hagan using the dummy run and Harrison charging onto the football. And what's a little dummy? Nice pass, but Schuster just throws the dummy there. It was enough to commit Gary Mercer to the tackle and the 4 points, but I'm afraid it's far too late.
Well, we said that the Leeds defence had stood firm in the face of all this Halifax pressure in the first half and latterly in this second. And since we've said that, they've conceded 2 tries. 26-16, the gap 10 points. It'll be reduced to 8 if this one sails over. that he hasn't kicked well today, has he, Schuster? A bad miss from in front of the post first half. 26-16 it stays.
You can see how the Leeds defence is all closed in tight. No one out wide. Even though Tate scrambled across. The little dummy was enough. Mercer went low. The try was scored.
So Schuster with the try, but not on the mark with the kick, was he? So just anything the timekeepers add on for stoppages, probably a minute or two of that. 10 points the gap. Those kicks would have gone over from Schuster, though. How close might this match have been? Hagen. Not giving it up, are they, Halifax? Bentley does well, releases the ball. Boyd back on. Hagen to Bishop. Over the top from Bishop to Schuster. Into the arms of Bentley. Trying to take Cook on the outside again. Turns the ball back inside. Schuster disappears under the challenge from Richie Ayres.
It's back to 6. The Leeds hand touched it.
Bentley, long ball. Southernwood's underneath it. Now here comes Gary Lord. Good tackle. The two subs, Irving 14, Vasilakopoulos 15. Bishop to Harrison. Back to Bishop, who backed up well. Support there from Haaland. Still going, Haaland. Halifax finishing with a real bit of gusto here. Devorty, Hagen, Devorty bounced off him. Ayres couldn't get to it before he was hit by Hampson. Referee will play the first knock on. Referee won't play the first knock on. That's it, it's all over. Leeds 26, Halifax 16. Iro with two tremendous tries. Hanley will have enjoyed the winning pay, and two old teammates shake hands and say well played. Leeds' run continues. That's 9 from 11 victories now.
All over here at Headingley, 26 points to 16. Leeds have stolen a bit of a march on the rest in the big league with this early kick-off. 11,650 here to welcome them home. 26-16, they have run out winners. Let's have a word with a couple of those Leeds players. First of all, we shall hear from Gary Schofield.
Gary, that was just a typical sort of neighbourly affair, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. You know, Halifax came in all fired up. Obviously with the Leeds players out in their side, and with Malcolm being ex-Leeds coach, we're fired up, and you know, we stuck to our guns. The game plan came quite well, and we showed a lot of spirit to come back from 8-0 down.
But it took a bit of time to work that game plan out, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. You know, Halifax have got a big pack of forwards, and I said they're making a bit of yards, but once we got settled down after around about 25 minutes, we got into our game plan, and it shows that we can score tries against the best defences. And
it must lift the spirits when Kevin Iro's in this sort of form.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, with Kevin there and Jim Fallon also two in the wing. You know, both over 6 foot 15 stone. There's plenty of power and pace there.
And it's not a bad sort of form to be hitting with. I mean, there's still a while to go until Wembley, but now everybody's on their toes, presumably.
Well, we are. There's plenty of confidence, plenty of spirit in the side. We're trying to put Wembley at the back of our minds. We've still got 5 league games to go. We want to get a top 8 spot. That's what we're aiming for. Then we'll think about Wembley when it comes along.
How difficult is it to try and keep people's minds on the fact that there's the Premiership as well?
Well, it's pretty hard because, as I say, our club hasn't been to Wembley for 16 years, and this place at the moment is just total mayhem. You know, the spectators are delighted, and I say we just got to keep playing the confidence and try and put it at the back of their mind, but it is quite hard.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, mate.
One of those Kevin Iro tries was created, I think, by Richie Ayres. You had a hand in it, didn't you?
I'm the new ball playing forward now, apparently, down here. Yeah, it's just Kevin told me that Graham was going to come in and try and take me out, you know, and all of a sudden I just heard this shout and I just passed, you know. I didn't even have to look. I knew he was going to be there on my shoulder, and fortunately went more or less the length of the field and got a great try.
It was fairly fierce at times up front, wasn't it?
Yeah, obviously, you know, we know it's a local derby game, and obviously these are coming to try and knock us off our perch, and when you go to Wembley, a lot of sides think you're going to be a little bit inconsistent and start taking advantage of it, but obviously we've just got to stick in there, get the 7 games out the way, and hopefully come for the big one then, you know, and who knows on the day.
And there's still the Premierships, of course. I mean, you've got to keep that in your mind.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, we've got to take every game as it comes and hopefully get in the top 8 and go for a Premiership playoff as well. You know, I mean, that'd be 2 finals for us, and that'll be great.
Yes, Richie Ayres, talking to him last week, he wants to get to Old Trafford and make it a real double-header end to the season for him and the fans. There are the facts from this game. Leeds doing a lot more work in the tackling. Scrums 8-7. The penalties, well, Halifax murdered, weren't they, in the penalty count 15-9. They made far too many handling errors too, 11-6. And they had the first half, but Leeds controlled the second half. Good win for Leeds. They maintained their winning run after getting to Wembley. And Steve-O, I know that that's what the players want. They want to go to Wembley on the back of form. They don't want to be going there having lost 5 or 6.
No, and they wanted to show also to the fans that they are a very good side. And on the second half performance, they are a very good side indeed. They really did pull their socks up. And I was most impressed with the way they played that last 40 minutes.
Let's take a look at one of the star men of this Leeds team, Kevin Iro. What a try this was. Well,
he's a big fella, isn't he? When you get him on the run like that, runs at the angle, and you cannot afford to just give him that yard start. He's very strong. You could see there, carried the ball there on his right hand, defended with the left. Superb try.
And I'll tell you something else also, this Jim Fallon isn't a bad player.
No, and neither is this guy, Gary Mercer. He had a wow of a game as far as I'm concerned. Look at that, turning in the tackle, keeping it all alive. And when you've got a full-back of the quality of Tate, linking through, and Fallon, he's no mean runner. And he's no mean size either. Just that little dummy was enough there to just make sure that Steve Hampson just hesitated that moment and scored the try.
Now here's the John Bentley try. I think I'd said in commentary just before this that Leeds were not looking brittle and they desperately wanted to keep Halifax out.
Well, yeah, it came off Gary Lord's foot there. It's play on. But I tell you something now, he scores a try in whatever was going through Tate's mind. If Tate had connected to the face, then I'm afraid Tate could be well and truly in the running for missing a Wembley appearance. And it surprised me that the referee did not give an 8-point try. That was a malicious attempt to a man's head. It missed. A very lucky man.
Yes, lucky man John Bentley that Tate did miss, and lucky man that Tate that he didn't go off for that.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it must have been running through their minds. They're a little bit frustrated. The game was over, and the fact that they tackled so well in that second half, they just eased off a little bit in the last 5 minutes. They knew the game had won, and it's quite easy for them to think about Wembley. But I tell you what, Tate wasn't thinking about Wembley there. He did lose his marbles. Luckily for him.
Yeah, lucky indeed. Well, let's take a look now at the table as it stands after today's game. And Leeds haven't made any progress up the table, but they have gained 2 points on St Helens. And of course, I know that many of you watching this before you set off for your matches this afternoon, the big one is at Central Park, Wigan against Warrington. And I just wonder what sort of bearing that one will have on the end of the season come about 4:30 this afternoon. Big matches this afternoon, Steve-O.
Well, they're all big all the way through now. It's important. I mean, Leeds are vital to get the 2 points today because it consolidates their position in the top 8, and they're pretty keen at getting involved. And I think they'll have a very good...
Tremendous day for Leeds here. Big crowd to welcome them home after their semi-final win and 2 more points. They're on the way to Old Trafford, I fancy.